The land we know today as Iran is home to one of the world's oldest and most continuous civilizations, a place where history is not just found in books, but is etched into the very landscape. Its story is a grand tapestry woven with threads of conquest, innovation, poetry, and faith. For thousands of years, this region, historically known as Persia, has been a crossroads of empires and a cradle of culture, influencing the world in ways that still resonate. From the mighty Persian kings who ruled a vast empire to the poets whose words have captivated hearts for centuries, Iran's past is rich with extraordinary characters and transformative events. Understanding this long and complex history is essential to understanding not only Iran itself, but also the broader story of human civilization and the interconnectedness of our world. To journey through the history of Iran is to witness the rise and fall of great dynasties, each leaving its unique mark on the nation's soul. We will travel back to the time of ancient cities like Susa and the powerful Elamite kingdom, which existed long before many other famous civilizations. We will then explore the Achaemenid Empire, a true global superpower of its time, founded by visionary leaders who introduced new ideas about governance and human rights. The narrative of Iran is not a simple straight line. It is a dynamic story of resilience and adaptation, a testament to a people who have absorbed outside influences while fiercely protecting their own distinct cultural identity, creating a unique synthesis that is quintessentially Iranian. This essay will guide you through the pivotal moments that have shaped this fascinating nation. We will meet the kings who built magnificent palaces at Persepolis, and the scholars who made groundbreaking discoveries in science and mathematics during the Islamic Golden Age. We will see how the arrival of Islam transformed the country, and how, in turn, Persian culture profoundly shaped the practice of Islam. We will examine the powerful dynasties that followed, each contributing to the foundation of the modern state, from the Safavids who established Shia Islam as the state religion, to the Pahlavis who pushed for rapid modernization in the 20th century. Finally, we will arrive in more recent times, exploring the seismic shifts of the 20th century, culminating in the Islamic Revolution of 1979, an event that reshaped Iran's relationship with the rest of the world. By tracing this long historical arc, from the dusty plains of ancient Elam to the bustling cities of contemporary Iran, we can begin to appreciate the depth and complexity of this remarkable country. Its history is a powerful reminder that the past is always present, shaping the challenges and triumphs of today and offering clues to the path that lies ahead. It is a story of a proud and enduring people, an empire of the mind as much as of territory. Long before the famous Persian Empire came to dominate the ancient world, the land of Iran was already a center of sophisticated civilization. In the fertile plains of the southwest, a powerful kingdom known as Elam flourished for millennia, with its great capital at Susa. The Elamites were contemporaries of the ancient Sumerians and Babylonians in neighboring Mesopotamia, engaging in trade, diplomacy, and warfare with them. They developed their own unique writing system, created stunning works of art, and built impressive ziggurats or temple towers, dedicated to their gods. The Elamites were a resilient people, maintaining their distinct culture and political independence for over 2,000 years, laying a crucial foundation for the civilizations that would follow in the region. The Elamite legacy is a vital part of Iran's deep history, showing that urban life and complex government were present in this land from a very early stage. Archaeologists have unearthed beautiful pottery, intricate cylinder seals, and monumental sculptures that speak to the skill and artistry of Elamite craftspeople. Their society was complex, with a powerful monarchy and a well-organized bureaucracy needed to manage agriculture, trade, and large-scale construction projects. Although much about their daily life remains a mystery, the remnants of their cities and the records left by their neighbors paint a picture of a vibrant and enduring culture that was a major player in the ancient Near East, setting the stage for the rise of Iranian-speaking peoples. As the power of Elam began to wane, new groups arrived on the Iranian plateau from the north. Among the most important of these were the Medes, an Iranian-speaking people who settled in the western part of what is now Iran. For a time, they were dominated by the powerful Assyrian Empire to the west, but they gradually grew in strength and unity. Under skilled leaders, the Medes managed to form a confederation of tribes and eventually built a powerful kingdom of their own. They established their capital at Ekbatana, modern-day Hamadan, and created a formidable army that would play a key role in the politics of the region. The rise of the Medes marked a significant turning point in the history of Iran. They were the first Iranian-speaking people to establish a major empire, and their success was instrumental in the downfall of the fearsome Assyrians. In an alliance with the Babylonians, the Medes conquered the Assyrian capital of Nineveh in 612 BCE, an event that reshaped the entire political map of the ancient world. The Median Empire, though relatively short-lived, was a crucial predecessor to the Persian Empire. It united the various Iranian tribes, established new forms of political and military organization, and paved the way for their cousins, the Persians, to build an even greater and more lasting empire. The stage was set by the Medes, but it was their southern relatives, the Persians, who would create an empire of unparalleled size and influence. This was the Achaemenid Empire, often called the First True World Empire, founded in the 6th century BCE. Its origins can be traced to a small vassal kingdom in the region of Persis, or modern Fars, which was under the control of the Median kings. From this seemingly modest beginning, a leader of extraordinary vision and skill would emerge to change the course of history. This empire was not just remarkable for its vast territory, which stretched from the Indus Valley in the east to parts of Greece in the west, but also for its innovative and surprisingly tolerant system of governance. The Achaemenid Empire connected diverse peoples and cultures under a single, centralized administration. The Persian kings built an extensive network of roads, with the most famous being the Royal Road, which stretched for over 2,500 kilometers from Susa to the Aegean coast. This incredible feat of engineering facilitated rapid communication, troop movement, and trade across the vast realm. A system of couriers, known as the Piradazis, could carry messages from one end of the empire to the other with astonishing speed. This infrastructure, along with a standardized system of weights, measures, and a common currency, helped to unify the diverse territories and stimulate economic prosperity throughout their domain. What made the Achaemenid Empire truly unique for its time was its policy of multiculturalism and relative religious tolerance. Unlike previous empires such as the Assyrians, who often ruled through terror and forced assimilation, the Persian kings generally allowed their conquered subjects to maintain their own customs, religions, and local leaders. As long as they paid their taxes and remained loyal to the king, different peoples were given a remarkable degree of autonomy. This pragmatic approach fostered stability and reduced the likelihood of rebellion, allowing the empire to be governed more effectively. It was a revolutionary concept in statecraft that would be admired and emulated by later empires. The legacy of the Achaemenids is immense and can be seen in the magnificent ruins of their ceremonial capital, Persepolis. This grand complex of palaces, treasuries, and reception halls was designed to impress visitors with the power and wealth of the King of Kings. The detailed stone reliefs carved into its walls depict processions of people from every corner of the empire: Medes, Babylonians, Egyptians, and Ethiopians, all bringing tribute to the Persian throne. These images are a powerful visual representation of the empire's multicultural ideal. The Achaemenid Empire was a testament to Persian organizational genius and set a new standard for what an empire could be, leaving an indelible mark on the history of governance and cultural exchange. The founder of this colossal empire was Cyrus the Great, a figure revered not only in Iranian history, but across the world. Ascending to the throne of the small Persian kingdom of Anshan around 559 BCE, Cyrus first united the Persian tribes and then launched a brilliant campaign against his grandfather, the Median king Astyages. After defeating the Medes, he did not destroy their capital or enslave their people. Instead, he incorporated the Median nobility into his own court, merging the two Iranian peoples into a powerful new force. This act of clemency and political wisdom would become a hallmark of his reign, setting him apart from the brutal conquerors of his time and earning him the respect of those he ruled. Cyrus's conquests were swift and spectacular. He went on to conquer the wealthy kingdom of Lydia in modern-day Turkey, and then turned his attention to the great Neo-Babylonian Empire. In 539 BCE, he captured the legendary city of Babylon, one of the most important moments in ancient history. Here again, his approach was revolutionary. According to historical accounts, including the famous Cyrus Cylinder, he presented himself not as a foreign invader, but as a liberator. He allowed the Jewish people who had been held captive in Babylon for decades to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. This act earned him a place of honor in the Hebrew Bible and cemented his legacy as a just and humane ruler. After the death of Cyrus, the empire was further consolidated and expanded by Darius the Great, another towering figure of the Achaemenid dynasty. Darius was not a direct descendant of Cyrus, but came to power after a period of civil unrest, and he proved to be a master administrator and organizer. He divided the vast empire into provinces, or satrapies, each governed by a satrap or governor, who was responsible for collecting taxes and maintaining order. To ensure their loyalty, Darius also appointed military commanders and secret inspectors, known as the eyes and ears of the king, who would travel throughout the empire and report directly back to him, creating a sophisticated system of checks and balances. Darius also left his mark through monumental building projects and a famous inscription that proclaimed his legitimacy and achievements. He oversaw the construction of the grand palaces at Susa and most famously began the elaborate complex at Persepolis, which would serve as the ceremonial heart of the empire. At a remote cliff face at Behistun, he had a massive relief carved, depicting his victory over his enemies with an accompanying text written in 3 languages, Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian. This Behistun inscription was a key to deciphering cuneiform script and provided invaluable insight into the history and ideology of the Achaemenid kings, securing Darius's place as one of history's greatest state builders. The magnificent Achaemenid Empire, despite its power and organization, was not destined to last forever. Its end came at the hands of one of history's most brilliant military commanders, Alexander the Great of Macedon. In a series of stunning battles in the 4th century BCE, Alexander's highly disciplined army defeated the much larger Persian forces under the command of Darius III. The decisive battles of Issus and Gaugamela shattered the Achaemenid military, and Alexander marched on to capture the great Persian capitals of Babylon, Susa, and finally, Persepolis. In 330 BCE, the Grand Palace of Persepolis was burned, a symbolic act that marked the definitive end of Persian dominion and the beginning of a new era of Greek or Hellenistic influence in the region. Alexander's conquest was more than just a military victory. It was a profound cultural encounter. He envisioned a fusion of Greek and Persian civilizations, encouraging his soldiers to marry Persian women and incorporating Persian nobles into his administration. After Alexander's early death, his vast empire was divided among his generals, with the territory of Persia and Mesopotamia falling under the control of the Seleucid dynasty. For over a century, Greek language, art, and philosophy spread throughout Iran. Cities were founded on the Greek model, and a new ruling class of Greek speakers governed the land. However, this Hellenistic influence was often confined to the cities and the elite, while traditional Persian culture remained strong in the countryside. The hold of the Seleucids on the Iranian plateau was never entirely secure, and eventually a new native power rose to challenge them. From the northeastern region of Parthia, a semi-nomadic Iranian tribe launched a successful rebellion in the mid-3rd century BCE. Under charismatic leaders like Arsaces I and Mithridates I, the Parthians gradually expelled the Seleucids and established a new and powerful empire. The Parthian Empire, also known as the Arsacid Empire, would rule for nearly 500 years, becoming a major rival to the burgeoning Roman Empire in the west. They were famed for their skilled heavy cavalry and their mastery of archery on horseback, a tactic that proved devastatingly effective against Roman legions. The Parthians were succeeded in the 3rd century CE by another great Persian dynasty, the Sasanians. The Sasanians saw themselves as the true heirs of the Achaemenids and consciously sought to restore Persian glory and culture. They established Zoroastrianism, the ancient religion of Iran, as the state faith and presided over a remarkable cultural and artistic renaissance. Under Sasanian rule, magnificent cities were built, literature and science flourished, and intricate silverwork and silk textiles were produced. The Sasanian Empire was a formidable military power that engaged in centuries of conflict with the Roman and later Byzantine empires, creating a dynamic of rivalry and exchange that defined the late antique world until, well, a new force emerged from the deserts of Arabia. The long and often exhausting wars between the Sasanian and Byzantine empires left both powers severely weakened. It was at this moment, in the 7th century CE, that a new and dynamic force emerged from the Arabian Peninsula, the armies of Islam. Fired by a powerful new faith, Arab armies swept through the region with incredible speed. They defeated the Sasanian army at the pivotal battles of Al-Qadisiyah and Nahavand, leading to the collapse of the once mighty Sasanian state. The conquest of Iran was a gradual process that took several decades, but it fundamentally transformed the country's religious and cultural landscape. The ancient religion of Zoroastrianism was slowly replaced by Islam as the dominant faith of the people. The conversion to Islam was not an overnight event and happened for a variety of social, economic, and spiritual reasons. While some embraced the new faith willingly, others converted over generations. However, the Iranians did not simply adopt Arab culture wholesale. Instead, they began a remarkable process of synthesis, infusing the universal message of Islam with their own rich and ancient cultural heritage. The Persian language, for instance, survived and flourished. While it adopted the Arabic script and many Arabic words, it re-emerged as a sophisticated literary language. This cultural resilience ensured that Iran would maintain its unique identity within the wider Islamic world, becoming a major contributor to its intellectual and artistic life. This fusion of Persian culture and Islamic faith led to a period often referred to as the Islamic Golden Age, during which Iran became a vibrant center of science, philosophy, medicine, and art. Scholars in cities like Nishapur, Isfahan, and Shiraz made extraordinary contributions to human knowledge. Thinkers like Avicenna, also known as Ibn Sina, wrote the Canon of Medicine, a medical encyclopedia that was used in Europe for centuries. Mathematicians like Al-Khwarizmi developed algebra and introduced Hindu-Arabic numerals to the world. The poetry of this era, written in the beautiful New Persian language, reached unparalleled heights with masters like Ferdowsi, who penned the epic Shahnameh, or Book of Kings, preserving the myths and pre-Islamic history of Iran. During this period, Iran also played a crucial role in the development of Islamic theology and thought, particularly within Shia Islam. While the majority of the Muslim world followed the Sunni branch of Islam, a distinct Shia identity began to take deeper root in parts of Iran over the centuries. This religious distinction would become increasingly important in later periods of Iranian history. The creative energy of this era demonstrated Iran's remarkable ability to absorb a new religion and worldview, while simultaneously shaping it with its own profound intellectual and artistic traditions, creating a unique and enduring civilization that was both Islamic and distinctly Persian. After several centuries of rule by various Turkic and Mongol dynasties, including the devastating invasions of Genghis Khan and Timur, or Tamerlane, Iran was reunified at the beginning of the 16th century by a new and transformative dynasty, the Safavids. The Safavids had their origins in a mystical Sufi religious order, but under an ambitious and charismatic young leader named Ismail I, they became a formidable military and political force. In 1501, Ismail captured the city of Tabriz and declared himself Shah of Iran. His most significant and lasting act was to declare Twelver Shia Islam as the official state religion of the empire, a decision that would profoundly shape Iran's identity down to the present day. This declaration was a pivotal moment. At the time, the majority of the population in Iran was Sunni, like their neighbors in the Ottoman Empire to the west and the Uzbeks to the east. The imposition of Shi'ism set Iran apart from the rest of the Islamic world and created a unique national identity rooted in this specific branch of the faith. This religious distinction often led to prolonged and bitter conflicts with the Sunni Ottoman Empire, as both powers vied for political and religious supremacy in the region. The Safavid state actively promoted Shia scholarship and rituals, building mosques and religious schools, known as madrasas, and encouraging the observance of ceremonies like Ashura, which commemorates the martyrdom of Imam Hussein. The golden age of the Safavid dynasty came under the rule of Shah Abbas I, also known as Abbas the Great, who reigned from 1588 to 1629. Shah Abbas was a brilliant military strategist, a skilled diplomat, and a great patron of the arts. He reformed the army, equipping it with modern gunpowder weapons, and successfully pushed back the Ottomans and Uzbeks, securing the empire's borders. He also moved the capital to the city of Isfahan and transformed it into one of the most beautiful cities in the world. His vision and patronage led to an explosion of artistic and architectural creativity, making Isfahan the jewel of the Safavid Empire and a hub of international trade and culture. Under Shah Abbas, Isfahan's Naqsh-e-Jahan Square, which means Image of the World Square, was built, surrounded by magnificent mosques, the Grand Ali Kapu Palace, and a bustling bazaar. The architecture of this period is famous for its intricate blue tilework, soaring domes, and elegant designs, which became hallmarks of Persian Islamic art. The Safavids also fostered a thriving economy, encouraging trade in silk, carpets, and ceramics with Europe and Asia. The Safavid era was thus a period of national revival, in which a strong, centralized state was created with a distinct religious and cultural identity, leaving a legacy that continues to define modern Iran. Following the decline of the Safavid dynasty, Iran entered a period of instability and turmoil, including a brief but brilliant military expansion under Nader Shah. Stability was eventually restored in the late 18th century with the rise of the Qajar dynasty. The Qajars, a Turkic tribe, established their capital in Tehran, which remains the capital of Iran today. Their long reign, which lasted until the early 20th century, was a period of significant challenge and change. During this time, Iran was caught between the expanding empires of Russia to the north and Great Britain to the east in India. This geopolitical rivalry, known as the Great Game, saw both European powers compete for influence and control over Iranian territory and resources. The Qajar Shahs struggled to maintain Iran's independence in the face of immense foreign pressure. They lost significant territories to Russia in the Caucasus and were forced to sign unequal treaties that granted economic concessions to both Britain and Russia. This growing foreign influence, combined with government corruption and economic stagnation, led to widespread public discontent. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the rise of popular protest movements, including the tobacco protest of 1891 and culminating in the Constitutional Revolution of 1906. This revolution, driven by a coalition of merchants, clergy, and intellectuals, forced the Shah to accept a constitution and establish a parliament, or majlis, marking a major step toward modern governance. The weakness of the Qajar state and the turmoil of World War I ultimately led to the dynasty's downfall. In 1921, a military officer named Reza Khan staged a coup and, a few years later in 1925, deposed the last Qajar Shah and declared himself the new monarch, taking the name Reza Shah Pahlavi and founding the Pahlavi dynasty. Reza Shah was a powerful modernizer who was determined to build a strong, centralized, and secular nation-state modeled on the West. He embarked on an ambitious program of reform, building modern infrastructure like the Trans-Iranian Railway, establishing a national army, creating a secular education system, and promoting Western dress and customs, famously banning the veil for women. Reza Shah's son, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, continued his father's modernization policies after taking the throne in 1941. Bolstered by vast oil revenues, he launched the White Revolution in the 1960s, a series of reforms aimed at industrializing the country, granting women the right to vote, and implementing land reform. While these changes brought rapid economic growth and created a new urban middle class, they also created deep social tensions. His authoritarian rule, close ties to the United States, and secular policies alienated many traditional and religious segments of the population, as well as leftist intellectuals. This growing opposition, simmering beneath the surface of apparent progress, set the stage for the revolutionary upheaval that would soon engulf the nation. The mounting discontent with the Shah's rule reached a boiling point in the late 1970s. The opposition was diverse, including secular liberals, students, and leftists. But it was ultimately galvanized and led by a charismatic and exiled religious leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. From his exile in France, Khomeini's messages, distributed via cassette tapes, denounced the Shah's regime as corrupt, repressive, and subservient to foreign powers, particularly the United States. He called for the establishment of an Islamic republic governed by Islamic law. Millions of Iranians from all walks of life took to the streets in massive demonstrations, bringing the country to a standstill and making the Shah's position untenable. In January 1979, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi fled Iran, never to return. 2 weeks later, Ayatollah Khomeini made a triumphant return to Tehran, greeted by euphoric crowds. The revolution culminated in a national referendum in which the monarchy was abolished and the Islamic Republic of Iran was officially established. This event was one of the most significant of the 20th century, creating a new form of government based on Khomeini's principle of Vilayat-e-Faqih, or guardianship of the Islamic jurist, where the highest authority is vested in a supreme leader. The revolution dramatically altered Iran's domestic policies and realigned its foreign policy, positioning it as a staunchly independent and anti-Western power in the Middle East. The years immediately following the revolution were tumultuous, marked by internal power struggles and external conflict. The most significant of these was the devastating Iran-Iraq War, which began in 1980 when Saddam Hussein's Iraq invaded Iran. The war lasted for 8 long years, causing immense human and economic devastation on both sides, but also helping to consolidate the new revolutionary government's hold on power by fostering a sense of national unity against a foreign aggressor. In the decades since, Iran has continued to navigate a complex path, facing international sanctions, economic challenges, and ongoing internal debates about the direction of its society and government. Today, Iran remains a country of profound importance and complexity. It is a nation with a young and highly educated population, a rich cultural heritage, and significant regional influence. It continues to grapple with the tensions between tradition and modernity, faith and freedom, and its identity as both a revolutionary Islamic state and an ancient Persian civilization. Its long and storied history, from the glories of Persepolis to the fervor of the 1979 revolution, provides the essential context for understanding the challenges and aspirations of the Iranian people today. The echoes of its ancient past continue to resonate in its vibrant culture, its complex politics, and its enduring spirit, making Iran a nation that continues to fascinate and shape the world.